A lot of times when you look in the Bible and the scripture, it likens the Christian walk or how we proceed in our day-to-day lifestyle as a race, right? Talks about it as a race. Go to 1 Corinthians 9. 1 Corinthians 9. We want to be like Olympians with our relationship with Christ, right? Meaning, when you're like an Olympian, that's the elite level of what you can get to in that particular event or area, right? So we want to be like an Olympian in our relationship with Christ, meaning we want to reach the highest pinnacle of what is there for us to achieve. And when you look at this in 1 Corinthians 9, go to verse 24. 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24 through 27, it says, "Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." That means to be the best, right? "Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize." So we see that he has equated this Christian walk to that of an Olympian. Strict training, right? Before you strike a blow to the body, you got to understand, you got to train and practice on what you're doing. Like, we'll read that part. I've heard that part a lot in different messages. You know, I strike a blow to my body. Yeah, but you got to practice before you strike that blow. So you ain't just swinging at air, right? So a lot of times, if you notice a boxer, before he ever enters the ring, he has to go punch a bag. And the bag, last time I checked, don't have no arms or no legs. It's just there to get hit. But that's what gets you strong, so that when you go in to fight the person with arms and legs, guess what? That person with the arms and legs, he been hitting the bag too. He been jumping rope just like you. But in order to get there, you have to do it at an elite level. Let's go to something else. Let's go to Hebrews 12 and 1. Hebrews 12 and 1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." So before people, before witnesses, great cloud of witnesses, we have to throw off everything that's going to restrict us and go forward with this race. And where does this end? Well, let's go to 2 Timothy 4. 2 Timothy 4, 6 through 7. What does it say? And this is Paul. This is his last letter. He says, "For I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight." Remember the boxer, right? "I have finished the race." Runner, right? "I have kept the faith." What a wonderful way to end. So when we look at this, we see this walk is very much parallel, aligned with an Olympian, a runner, a competitor. But we're not competing against people. We're competing against this world. We're competing against ourselves. One thing that a race has is spectators. People watching. People looking. People wishing they could be like the people who are competing. I know anytime I see a good game or a good sport, I always wonder, man, what it would be like to score that final goal, to be hoisted up on the shoulders of your teammates. That's got to be a great feeling, right? But you say, man, I wish I could be that. And you see kids who look at it. They'll go to the basketball court, go to the soccer field, go to the football field, and they'll call out the name of the person they want to be like when they do something fantastic. When I was growing up, it was Michael Jordan. You know, you call his name out. For that next generation, it was Kobe. You know, they hit a shot, Kobe. For the next generation, it was LeBron from a basketball standpoint. And you can go back and do the same thing for football and soccer and all the other sports. Go back to Muhammad Ali days, you know. Everybody wanted to be like that person because they watched them, they witnessed it. But the difference is the goal of the fighter, the goal of the runner, the goal of the basketball player was not in the stands. The ones who are great, the goal was not to satisfy the people in the stands. It was to win whatever it is they were out there to win. It was to do what they were out there to accomplish, even though there were people watching. So even though from a personal standpoint, the job that they were competing for was what was important. Even though there were people watching, it wasn't for their satisfaction. It was for the satisfaction of winning the goal. So when we look at our relationship, when we look at this personal relationship, although it is a public thing that we're doing, people are watching, people are witnessing, people are there to see. But the goal of what you're doing is not for their consumption. It is for you to get to what you need to get to with Christ. But it should be done in such a way that even though it's seen, it should light up what they see. It should take on so much a part of you that they glean knowledge from it. But they are not your goal. So what I'm saying is, even though your relationship with Christ is personal, it is publicly seen. But just because you see people watching doesn't mean it changes what you do. You still do it for Christ. And if you're doing it for Christ, if you're doing it to such an effect for God, if you're living your life so much for God, people should see it and glean that light from it. But when you turn around and you looking at them and you say, oh, I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to do this because people watching. Watch yourself. Because now you're not living for God. You're living for self. And you can always tell. If you ever look at YouTube, there are so many videos of Almost a Champion. And what Almost a Champion is it's a string of videos where you see a runner running or a biker biking, and he's riding his bike. The finish line is right there. And it's not another person in sight. Nobody there. He got it. He got about 10 more feet. And everybody like, yeah, you're about to win. And when he get there, he do this. Before he get to the finish line, he let go the handlebars, or he'll ease up and, run to the side. And all of a sudden, that front tire start wobbling, and he fall. And guess what? Somebody else come around the corner out of nowhere, pedaling. Ain't worried about nobody. Pedaling, focused on that goal and pass him by. He trying to struggle and get his bike up, and now he come in third. The runner do his little whatever, and he fall. And now he trying to crawl or get up, and here comes somebody else. Ain't looking at nobody. People still cheering. People, oh, whatever. And everything, he just passing by. Because was he doing it for the goal? No. Them people got into him. And he started showing out. He started doing it for the people. And all of a sudden, as soon as he started looking around and saying, they're cheering for me. Wow. They weren't cheering for you. They don't even know you. Anytime you do something great, anytime you do something that is setting a standard or that is worth being seen, people are going to look. You could be walking down the street and just see a man with some paint buckets and a stick beating on him. And you got somewhere to go. And man, he getting it. You going to stop. Like, man, that's all right. He playing some buckets. Right? Yeah, that's impressive. But it gets your attention. A man could be juggling on the side of the street. And you will stop and look. Man, look at this man juggling, dancing. Pick whatever skill you want, magic trick, whatever. Whenever somebody does something that grabs your attention or that's really good, you're going to stop and look. Now it's different people in the crowd. There are people who are like, wow, this man is doing a good job juggling these balls or this stuff, whatever it is he's juggling. This is amazing. And they say, wow, man, keep going. That's awesome, right? But then you have other people in the crowd who like, oh, look at this man juggling. Man, I'm going to stay here because he's going to drop one of them. I can't wait to see him drop and mess up. It's people that have different motivations for looking at you. Some people want you to be great. Some people can't wait for you to miss. But all in all, there are eyes on you. And your motivation could be for the people who want you to succeed, yeah, they cheer me on. And for the people who want you to fail, I'm going to prove them wrong. But that should never be your motivation. Your motivation should be in Christ. Because if Christ wants you to go and that's your goal, regardless of what people want, you are going to be successful because he is the one who's pushing you and motivating you. What's the one thing that a coach always tells you to do? Whether you were playing T-ball, Little League Baseball, or Major League Baseball, block out the people. Listen to my voice, because I'm going to tell you what to do. You ever notice, if you ever played baseball or even seen the sport, you got 3 bases, right, in the home plate. And you will see there's a first base coach, there's a third base coach. And when that guy get to running, them coaches telling him, oh, or keep it going, right? Tell him to slide. He has the signals. But if you listen to the crowd, I don't care where that ball go in the field, the crowd say, Roy, go, do it. And if you listen to the crowd, you be like, yeah, I'm going to go. And next thing you know, it's you out. And the coach like, man, I'm telling you to stop. But the crowd was saying, go, it's more of them than you. Because the crowd is always bigger than the coach. It's more of the crowd. And guess what? As soon as you get out, they were saying, go, go, go. And then they say out, and the crowd go, oh, I don't know why he was running. It was so stupid. He's so stupid. They turn on you like that. Right? Y'all look at the sport. Y'all go to the game. You know how many drunk people in there telling you to do something? The coach ain't drunk. The coach know the sport. He telling you what to do. So when he running them bases and the crowd saying, go, 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 and the man run past, he get back. And everybody like, oh. They look at that third base coach. That third base coach said, no, no, no. You ain't going to make it. I know your speed. I know what type of player you are. I know how fast you are. I know what type of base runner you are. And I know that man out there, I know how strong his arm is. I've studied him too. I know how he can catch. I know his recovery time. He was going to throw you out. But we got to stay in the game, so stop. And you stop. Or I know your speed and I know his arm, so keep going. But you got to look at your coach. You can't look at the people. So just because you are in a public place and you have witnesses watching you run this race, don't mean that you listen to everything that these spectators and people are saying. You got to listen to your coach, because the only thing that matters is winning, and you and the coach are on the same page. Let's go win this championship. So in order to focus on what you need to do, you got to pay attention to your coach. But as I studied this a little bit more, everyone who plays the game is not in it to be an Olympian or to be a champion. Some are hobbyists. Some play, but it's not what they live. All right, so think about this with me now. Is God a hobby to you? The only thing that separates a hobbyist from a champion is practice. Because we all built the same last time I checked. We all pretty much, some people got, you got the natural talent, but there are some people who wasn't born with certain attributes, but they've practiced enough to make it to that level, right? So here's what I'm thinking, right? Follow me on this. Everybody who runs is not a runner. Everybody who plays basketball is not a basketball player. Everybody who takes pictures is not a photographer. But you got all the equipment. What type of equipment does it take to play basketball? Basketball, some shoes, and a goal. That's it. I throw you a basketball, I throw this other man a basketball. To some people, it's a hobby. And they separate themselves on the court. The difference between a hobby and being a professional is the lifestyle. You either live it or you don't. But notice a hobbyist can keep it private. A hobbyist don't have to let you know this what they do. See, I can ask somebody what they do and they say, I'm a contractor. I read books. I do this. I do that. And I play basketball. But if I go up to LeBron James and say, what do you do? What is his first response? I'm a basketball player. That's the first thing on the list. See, some people live it and some people don't. Some people just fiddle around with it. It's a nice to have. If they don't do it today, it's all right. They'll do it the next day. It's just a hobby to them. They don't live this thing, but they still do it. See, everybody who come to church is not a professional. Everybody who read a Bible is not a professional. To some, it's just a hobby. God is just something nice to have, a conversation piece. When they want to get into conversation, they say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian too. But they don't live it. They just play around with it. See, when you have a hobby can just be something to pass the time. A hobby can be something that you just do just because you want to have a little fun on the side. Something to do with your week when you get bored. Something just to play around with. But to a professional, even when they don't want to do it, they beat their body. Get up, because we know we got a game this weekend, so we got to go practice. When they don't want to do it, they still do it because it's a lifestyle. See, when you go to work, you know it ain't about just going to work. It's about what you get out of that work. Some days are good days, other days are very challenging days. But you still get up and you go to work because that's what you live. So even days when you don't want to do it, you beat that body and you go do it. But the other people who still at your job, they don't treat it the same, do they? They wake up and that's because they don't feel like it. Have more headaches than anybody you know. Don't feel good more than anybody you know. Get there and complain the way through the whole day. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the whole day. Cough on Tuesday because you know they ain't going to be there on Thursday and Friday. Cough sound just a walk around there, you see it happen. Oh, they going to call in tomorrow. They got this old fake cough going. We know it's going to happen. They just did this a month ago. You going to wear it out. I don't know how many grandmamas you got, but ain't all of them dead. How many excuses do you have? Don't know how to live it because the job is a hobby. They just want to breeze through life. See, that's how we have, and that's when you wonder why you ain't getting the most out the job. Because now when it come time for the reward, you wondering why you getting passed over. Because everybody see through this game you playing. Why your shot ain't falling like the rest of them on the basketball court? Because you ain't practicing. Why your blows ain't knocking the man out like the other people? Because you ain't practicing. Why when you running, your time ain't better than them? Because you ain't practicing. But this other person is living it. See, we just see the highlights. We just see when the camera flash is going out. Y'all notice I did this because I'm old. I guess y'all got camera phones. Okay, y'all get it. Y'all saw that. It's all good, right? But that's what we see. We see the highlight. We see what's happening on TV. But when the cameras go off, that person's still in the gym. When ain't nobody around, that person's still practicing. So when ain't nobody seeing, you still praying. When ain't nobody around, you still got a Bible. When ain't nobody witnessing what you doing, you still going before the Lord. But a lot of people can't wait to when the eyes on them, oh, they pray so good. But when everything go down, they don't know who God is. When ain't nobody looking, when ain't no other Christians around, oh, you wouldn't know what they were. But when other folks who have like faith, oh, they got something to say. They got some advice to give. They got the Lord to talk about. But it's something about a hobbyist. A hobbyist doesn't get the same reward as somebody who lives it as a lifestyle. Anybody can pick up a hobby. And sometimes they'll pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. When you have somebody who likes to scrapbook, likes to sew or knit, or what is it when you, what's that? Crochet, there you go. Like to crochet. That stuff is kind of fun, right? You can make a little something. But a lot of people who hobbyists, you go to their house and they got crochet needles, they got the yarn, they got the whole thing. And you would just pick up a bunch of stuff like, what's this? Oh, I was making something. He ain't finished. When you started? 2005. Oh, okay. What's this? Oh, that was going to be I don't know, everything a blanket. That's all I know. Everything about this big and it's square. It was going to be something elaborate, but it didn't make it outside of a little bitty something. But if you go to somebody who lives this, they got all types of stuff to show you. Oh, that's a doily. That's a coaster. That's a little something for my grandbaby. That's a blanket that I made. That's a pillow. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Amen. We all pick stuff up. You go to some people's house, they got a tennis racket, a trumpet, some tap shoes, some bowling shoes, a basketball, and everything else. They in everything, but they ain't good at none of it. Because they just pick it up. Oh, that look cool. Ooh, I want to play the saxophone. Oh, can you play it? Mm-mm. Can you do it? Mm-mm. Can you? Mm-mm. Just got all the tools, but ain't good at none of it because they don't practice it. They just saw what looked to be fun, said they'd give it a shot, and then they put it down. Why am I telling you all this? Some of us done put Jesus down. Some of us done picked him up, tried it. That's a little tough. Set it down. Here go a Bible. You read it? I ain't like that version. Got the New King James, the Old King James, the New Living, the NLT, the NIV, the whatever other three letters you want to put together. Got all of them. Come on now. Ain't reading none of them. Got Google set. Got a whole bunch of Bible apps. Don't none of them get open. But a play a game in a heartbeat.
You preaching now. You preach.
It's fun. They like the fun part. But don't like when it have to be applied. Because that ain't easy all the time. I always want to call somebody, but don't want to go to God for themselves. Why? Because they don't know how. They ain't practicing. Need you to do it all the time. But when you practice this, when you stop letting Jesus be a hobby, when you pick him up as a professional, when he the first on the list, instead of way down the list, it makes a whole difference because he's no longer a hobby. So what happens when you do this? So God told us something. In 2 Timothy, Paul says this, 2 Timothy 2:15. He said, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. See, when he says a worker that doesn't need to be ashamed, that means when you confront it with your work. All right. A lot of times people try to ease by. And then when you come at the end of the day, you're a supervisor or a manager, and you say, hey, everybody, we done. And you got 5 different people. And all of them got to present their work. Who did this over here? Oh, that was Bobby. Oh, Bobby, man, that's a good job. Look at that. You don't got it that high. That's a nice looking wall you done built there. Then you get down here to the end of Ted, his wall crooked, leaning, because he been talking the whole time, ain't been playing, right? And all of a sudden you look like, man, who did this? He's Shane. Now he was fine just walking by and not doing it when it was time. But now that he got to stand beside it and present it as his own, he don't want to do that. I was at the store the other day buying some clothes for my son. And man, we waiting in this long line, right, trying to get out of here. And it's 3 cashiers, but one of them talking to the second one. And he's supposed to be way down there on the end, right? But he way up here talking. I thought he was the stock boy or something, you know. He ain't been with, so many people done went. He still ain't moved. The supervisor comes and say, hey, Johnny, his name was Johnny. Johnny, these people ready to go home, baby. You need to get up there, stop from talking and get down here on your register. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He had to come down there, get a little card, swipe in. Y'all come down to number 8, please. And I said, this boy been sitting here talking the whole time till somebody called him out that basically all she said to him, hey, baby, you here to work. You getting paid to work, not to talk. And she said it in a sweet way, but that's basically all she was telling him. And thank God for him, she was nice, because I've been around some who wouldn't have been so kind, right? So he got to work. But that's what it takes sometimes for some of us. Some of us need a kick. Hey, you're not living this Christian life just to pass it by. You're here for a reason. And that's what I'm here to tell you today. You're here for a reason. And why do I tell you that? Because I want to save your life. Because I want you to go to Matthew 7. And I want you to go to 21. And I want you to hear this. Because he said, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many, not a few, not a handful, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons. And in your name perform many miracles. Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. These are people who really thought they were doing what they were doing, but these are hobbyists. These are people who picked him up and put him down. These are people who tried it and said, it's too hard. And he said, guess what? I ain't got time for that. You ain't living. You just playing. And I ain't got time to be playing no games with you. So yeah, you come up here because you can say, I worked there too, but you didn't do nothing. I want a promotion too, but you ain't did nothing. Yeah, your check stub, you got paid, so just be happy you got paid. See, when you're a manager sometimes, that's what you got to tell some people, right? You got by for 6 years, and now I got to let you go. But I need this job. Well, if you need it so bad, you should have worked. Amen. But you've been playing for 6 years, so you need to just be happy you got by on 6 years relaxing. So you had a 6-year vacation because all you did was come in here and chit, chat, and talk. You ain't did no work. We just had enough money that we could hold on and everybody else could work. That's what the job basically is saying. Because when they ask that question, when the big boss come down and he say, hey, what does this person do? And the manager say, oh, they do such and such and such and such. What about that person over there? What they do? Nothing. Well, why are we paying them? Guess who looking bad? That person and the manager. Because the manager like, dog, why you ain't got that person working? Well, you need to let them go. And then they'll just keep on walking. And you lost your job just like that. Just because somebody asked one question, what do they do? And the person couldn't answer to say nothing. So when Jesus come back, that's all he's saying? Yes. What did you do? And when the only thing you can say is, I did this, and then back in 2012, when we was out there soul winning, I was driving. Then I helped clean the church. And I went to church every Sunday. What did you do? That's it? You didn't live it? Because all he wanted to hear is I ran the race for you. I lived for you. I did the best I could for you. All right. You gave me these talents, and I did something with them. That's what I did. I didn't just sit on them. Because then you just a hobbyist. You just got a tennis racket in the closet, but you don't know how to swing it. All you got to do is go to Walmart. Man, you can buy everything you want from a sports perspective. You ain't going to be good at none of them just because you got it. I got some golf shoes, some golf clubs, the glove, the hat, and I can hit that ball in the woods better than anybody. But ask me to keep it on the green. But guess what? I'm going out there again, and I got a whole bunch of balls because I ain't looking for them. I'm just swinging. So that's how some of us do. Have me a good time out there, too, losing all that money in them balls. There go another one. You looking for it? No. That thing's so deep in the woods, somebody get it one day. Buy me the cheapest balls possible. That's what we do. So people, don't be a hobbyist with God. Be a professional. Live this. When somebody say, who are you? That should be number one. That should be first thing on your list. You can't have him way down here. You got to identify. And when you live life publicly for him, guess what? You ain't even got to say nothing. People know. People already see it. If you don't believe me, go to a local basketball court sometimes, if you want to, or go to any sporting event. The professional is always the one who you like, wow, they don't belong here. You want to add, man, you play for someone, you got to play for a team or something, don't you? Because you running around there making them look silly. The professional lives it. So you don't have to always go tell people what you are, what you do. Remember that light we talked about? It'd be funny how bright it can get when you live in it. Shine on everything and on everybody. And they'll see it. They'll notice that you're different. You ain't got to tell nobody what you are and what you do. You are a professional.